I'm at the Mount Sequoia Woods, nestled here in the foothills of the Ozark Mountains. We got various flora and fauna, not to mention deer and red-tailed hawks, salamanders, and barned owls. Unsurprisingly, when the weather's so gorgeous, it's a perfect 70 degrees out here. You're gonna hear some crackling of the leaves because fall is coming in, and I'm not ready for winter. I'm not ready for fall or winter, to be frank. It's just gonna be dreadful. I know it when it starts raining and I'm inside and I start getting cabin fever. Anyways, enough with the small talk. There's a few things I want to talk about today, namely around the collapse-oriented theme. So what kind of annoys me about talking about this with younger people is their already preconditioned sense of collapse or doom. Like they've grew up with movies like WALL-E and seeing these dystopian movies, mainly in the late 2000s period. There was like a period where 2012, that kind of came out. And so whenever I bring up this topic of collapse, or I tell them with what limited time we have left, maybe it's just a perspective, just living through trauma. There's a crazy looking bug here. Let me get a shot. I know someone told me the name of that recently, but I forgot. Anyways, with younger people, you tell them and they're like, oh yeah, it's gonna end in 10 years, or they're just, think it's a joke and sort of like write you off. And it's like, no, you don't understand that you've never lived through a world war, and neither have I, but I've read enough about it and played enough video games, and Jesus, I know how much suffering it can be. I mean, in World War II, when the Russians captured the Germans, or in vice versa, they would do cruel things like make them, trudge in the snow and eat laxatives and just shit in their pants and walk for miles, like torture, like really horrendous stuff. And I'm not saying that's the equivalent of what's going to happen, but I mean, you got 20 million people starving to death in Yemen, and Tigray region is under a blackout right now. Guys, like, the suffering will be immense. But I'm not here to beat in a dead horse on that. I'm just saying, perspective checking. So it's kind of frustrating, honestly. It's like I tell them and they're like, it's like, no, you don't really get it, but they soon will enough. And something else I learned yesterday was about to get electricity from renewable sources across the country to other regions who don't have access to it, you have to build high transmission electrical lines, and those are prone to starting fires, and they take trillions of dollars to build. I mean, all the ones that we need. I mean, look at this generation of like pansies of, I know I look kind of fruity, but I'm capable of being outdoors. We can't man up like they did in war. This is going to take a World War III like effort to get everyone trained in building the infrastructure. We just won't make it. And look how divided Congress is. I know I bring this up a lot, but dude, we're not going to strike a deal on the stimulus or even raising the debt ceiling. We're going to default. This is the slow decline. This is how empires fall. Slowly, then suddenly. I think Hemingway said that. Just saying, there's a place to sit over here. And so you're going to have complete blackout regions. Look at the drought. I'm going to try to put a picture. Look at the drought monitor of the West. Look how much extreme drought they're in. It's just awfully ironic. You got a population that's fed propaganda to buy a V8, right, and get a big house and have 3 kids and live, have no care or consequence of what these actions may do long term. And we've been told that that's the dream. That's what you want, to have that power and success. And I see it around here all the time. It's so disgusting. But it's human nature. We're judged by our peers, and that we drive you have to have a white luxury vehicle that's either a Porsche or a Mercedes near the school here, and be blonde. That's how you are accepted. That's how powerful emotions are in getting people to do, what they want you to do around you so you'll be accepted. But anyways, you have a population that's been so desensitized and told lies, a complete world of lies. And then you have the UN Attorney General. The United Nations was formed, by the way, as a result of the last war that we were in as a world, as a species that was formed. And you have him standing up in the podium saying, wake up. Wake up. And so the message is just too much for people. You have socially conditioned a society of people. Look at this cool pavilion. See, I'd live in something like this, like Norse style. Yeah, that'd be cool. And then you tell them to go to sleep. You tell them to go to sleep for ever. And then you say, wake up suddenly. Doesn't work like that. The wake up for me probably took like 6 years, and I'm a little bit higher on the distribution curve, but dude, this camera is really heavy. I got my nice gear with me, so walking with all that was kind of a bitch. It's probably echoing here too, but I need to tell you that I've ordered a survival kit offline that will get me going for like a good week, like a bug out bag. I know I need to start learning how to can food and build zip lines. I mean, do all kinds of stuff. Like, I need to start preparing. It's like knowing you got to learn Spanish. Like, you're going to Mexico, you should probably learn Spanish, right? That sounds smart, but a lot of people move here and they don't touch English at all, and they look at you confused. We don't speak no English. So I got to learn how to can food and learn to forage and pick berries. I'm going to a gun show with my Doomer friend tomorrow, which should be pretty cool, just to get some ideas. I already got a holster for my revolver you saw in my video. I feel pretty well self-defended in that way. And I can reload my friend brought up a good point. I can reload a revolver like really quickly, like compared to a clip. Of course, you have multiple clips with you, but I can reload 6 shots in less than 10 seconds, like going really fast. So that's convenient if I'm ever in a tragic situation. On my personal note, on my personal well-being, I'm coming more to peace with it over the past week with where we're going. As much as I don't want to live in 2035, 2040, most sane people who even think about this will feel the same way, but it's going to be a roller coaster ride. It's really fun. I was plucked from the universe and dropped into late stage Rome, where everyone's asleep and we're full of propaganda and award shows and all that goes on, and it's like, it's a big mockery of itself. I don't know, this book, Capitalism, Realism, is a more accurate term than postmodernism in describing capitalism has made a new reality. And I mean, Thatcher said, like, is there any other system? Well, we clearly have to find another system soon enough, because if we don't, we know where this is headed. And you can't have an economy. You can't build like green infrastructure. Like, all that's going to take so much carbon energy just to build all of the infrastructure development. I mean, it's so screwed on so many levels. My emphasis of this video was more acceptance of the collapse, how much it's going to take for us to wake up. And I think that maybe an event in the next few years, like a mass casualty event, maybe 2024, 2025, we're going to see thousands of people die at once, probably more, and poor areas and even developed worlds, and that will cause a worldwide awakening a little more. That's my guess. But we'll see. There's going to be people that are denying it to the very end. To the very end. Guess we all are our own. Everyone is working on different time scales. I know. I understand that. Some of us are just a little bit more caught up to the times. Like, for instance, yesterday I went to deliver, and across the street was a house with a car parked out front that had solar like company on it. And the guy was sitting out on the front patio, and I just said, I'm never in this part of town. I'll never go there again. And I said, oh, that's cool that you're doing that, but we only got 9 years left, or something like that. He said, what? And got up, walked over to me. He thought I was like offending him. It looked like he was startled, like I was offending him. And I was like, no, I was like, we got to change our whole, I think it's cool you're doing that, but we got like 3 or 4 years left to convert our entire energy infrastructure over. And he's like, confused. He's not saying anything the whole time. And I'm like, by this point, he's come up to my window of my car, and I'm like, well, I quickly changed. I'm like, go look at the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Go get informed. And I kind of wave him off and roll up the window, and I drive off, and I look in the rearview mirror, and he's still in the middle of the road just stunned. It's like, how could you be in the solar business and not know, like, Code Red for Humanity, like the report, the groundbreaking report that was just released? I mean, I feel like it was on all the news channels. It was social media. It was everywhere. I mean, that's the level of asleepness that we're at. Even people you think that would be in the field. Okay, I gotta run to go get some stuff, but I wanted to give my thoughts real quick on collapse. Thanks all you guys, and if you haven't, click subscribe, put maybe $1 a month on Patreon. Every bit helps. Okay, talk to you soon.